Well, I know you were lead on xDNS. So, and xDNS has actually been around for a little while. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about, like, in the first version, what were we trying to address? What were we trying to help our customers with?
Okay, so xDNS is sort of the Men&Mice attempt to fix the problem of DNS redundancy. So originally, of course, we had master and slave zones, which of course had its own share of problems. If the master server went down, you couldn't edit the slave zones and so on. And then we had the cloud DNS providers, which each of them implemented their own sort of redundancy that you could add zones, and they would try to guarantee that the zone would stay up as long as their cloud stayed up. But unfortunately, the clouds don't always stay up, and the DNS failures can be catastrophic. So we came up with this idea of sort of having the Men&Mice, the Micetro suite, replicate the zones between services. So it would be service agnostic. So you could have your zones in, say, AWS and also in Azure, and maybe also on a local DNS server. And our system would take care of replicating changes between all of these systems behind the scenes. And that would give you much better redundancy in case one of the services crashed or went offline.
I love this, and only because we're an abstraction layer, right? We're non-authoritative. Are we able to do this for multiple DNS service providers, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, because we're an overlay on top of all of these different providers, we're in a perfect spot to be able to replicate stuff between them.
So I know with 10.3, which just came out last month, you guys totally kind of rethought the capability, where the capability is kind of the same, but maybe it's easier for an admin to actually use it. We're always worried about customer experience and making sure that our customers are able to really simplify operations, because they're also dealing with a lot all the time. Can you tell us a little bit about what the differences are, or if you want to pop it up and show it and talk about that now too, however is easiest for you?
Yeah, sure. So the original implementation was maybe a bit too generic. So you could select any two DNS zones and say, I want to replicate changes between these two. And this was done on a zone by zone basis, which was nice if you had, like, if you wanted to have one zone replicated between these providers and you had another zone that you wanted to replicate somewhere else. But it turns out what people really want to do is to select all of their zones and say, I want all of them replicated in exactly the same way. So in 10.3, we added this sort of middle layer, which is called an xDNS profile. And if I can give you a quick demo here. There we go. Okay. So in order to add a zone to xDNS, you first have to go in and create an xDNS profile. So I have here a system which has 4 bind DNS servers on it. Of course, the same method applies no matter what type of name server you have. And so you go here into the admin section, configuration, and you create xDNS profiles. And you can have multiple profiles if you have, like, some of your zones, you want to replicate them in one way, and another set of zones you want to replicate in a different way. For example, your external zones or internal zones or what have you. So you can create a profile, and you can call it whatever you want, and you can add some servers to it, at least 2 of them. So in this case, we'll add, say, 3 of those 4 servers here. And when we create this profile, zones added to the profile will be replicated between these servers. And there are a number of settings here. So you can select, like, if there is a conflict, like when you create, if you say you have a zone that's already exists on 2 of these servers, and you say, I want to add the zone to xDNS, then you can choose whether you want to overwrite one of the zones with the ones you selected, or if you want to merge the records from both zones into one super zone. And you can do this, you can set this on the profile, you can also do it on an individual zone when you add it, as you can see later. Another option you can set here is to reject external changes in these zones. So you can say, like, sometimes there are changes coming in from outside Micetro, and we may or may not want to have these changes applied to the other zone instances. So you can say, for example, in this server, I do not want the changes made on server 0 and 2 to be replicated to server 1. And I guess we'll just leave them all off for now. So now we have an xDNS profile, and we can add some description, table, say what it does, and we created this. And like I said, you can have as many profiles as you want. So you can go into the DNS, and here we have a zone. And you can see here, if you filter by server, you can see that it exists on the first server, but it does not exist on the others. It's just on this guy here. And I say, I want to add this zone to an xDNS profile. And it says, okay, it'll be shared between the following servers. And the list of servers that are available. So that's fine. We add the zone. And you can see now the authority column has changed from the name of the server that it was hosted on to the xDNS profile name. And if you scroll down here, you can see the status of the zone. You can see that all of the servers are green, which means that the zone is correctly replicated between all of them. If one of the servers or services goes down, its icon will turn red, and then when it comes back online, the icon will be yellow for a tiny amount of time until we spot it that the server is back online and copy whatever changes were made in the meantime over to the server that was offline, and they're all in sync, and then they will all become green again. So you can look now, you can see that the zone exists on this server and this one as well, but not on the server that was not included in the profile. So you can go back here, and you can filter by zone type, so you can say, okay, I want to see all of my xDNS zones. At the moment, it's just a single one. So I open it up, and so now I'm editing the zone instance on one of the servers. I create a record, and it's going to be an A record. That's like this. I'll create it. Very nice. And now this record will be created on one of the servers, and the change will be pushed out to all the others. So it should be live on all servers now. And that's the essence of the xDNS feature.
It's amazing. I mean, you make it seem so easy, and it is really easy from an operational perspective, but people doing this manually, I mean, it's near impossible to, replicate and make sure that everything stays the same as it should, or that, all the changes get made on all of the servers, or, it's ripe with human error when you do something like this manually.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we try to make it as simple as possible and try to make it foolproof.
Yeah, and I love it. What
also,
happens? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you can also, once you've created the profile and you selected one zone and you've replicated and you've seen it all work, then you should be able to set up multiple zones, all of your zones, and just say, I want to add them all at the same time to the same profile. And boom, they're in there. Now it's just a one zone. And like I said earlier, I selected can't remember which strategy I did. Okay, let me remove them again. And now we have two zones again. And I say add. And yeah, you can say I want to merge the records from all of them, or say I want to overwrite. So I just pick the first one, and I say I want to delete the record from the other instances and just use this guy here. And boom, they're in xDNS now.
Now I noticed there was a warning there too. So you get warnings and errors and kind of like a pre-flight check.
yeah, it'll tell you a warning like this zone here does contain records. They will be overwritten. So it should be relatively foolproof, I hope.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much, Aggie. This was really informational, really helpful. I hope our users, watch it and learn how to do xDNS for themselves. It seems very doable.
And absolutely, if they try it out and they have suggestions, just contact us, and we will try to add to it as we can.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Aggie, and thanks to
Thank
everyone.
you.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Okay, bye.